Cleverly at times. Can now the Southern Brave put on a sprint finish?
That's an interesting little period, 25 balls left, with the Phoenix having bowled so well, hit the pitch, varied the pace. When you go into this latter part of the innings, do you get tempted to go to Yorkers and go fuller? I mean, certainly I think Kieron Pollard will hope they do. One of the best hitters of the full ball in the world.
Average score here this year pretty low in the men's competition, a bit higher in the women's, 112 really, but you'd say this is a better pitch than some we've seen here. May just skip on a bit under lights as well in the second innings, we shall see. But it feels a much better surface, and therefore for the Brave, their ambition should be set much higher as well.
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed if they get 112 from here.
I suppose the question is, what is a good score though?
Wait.
They bowled cleverly, haven't they? Particularly to Vince, who made 43, couldn't quite escape the shackles and the stranglehold that was applied by the Phoenix bowlers. They bowled very straight, hit some clever lengths at times. Ben Duckett, of course, will be opening for the Phoenix. When you've had a crack at him in the nets, Stuart, have you been over, round the wicket? What have you looked to do to him?
I saw him before play, actually, and I said to him, he's become one of the hardest white ball bowlers to bowl at in the world at the moment. It's with his scoop, his famous scoop. Come back to 2 to finish those 5. 95 runs on the board for 80. Yeah, I said to him, what have you done differently? And
Duckett got runs against Archer, who is a superb bowler at left-handers in particular, because he gets so tight to the stump. So that'll be a feature of the second half of this game. Archer and others, Archer and company against Duckett, and a very strong top order. Now Chris Wood to bowl his final 5. Pollard looking leg side. He hasn't got enough of this, and a comfortable catch taken by Mosley out in the deep. Pollard was across his stumps, predetermined to try and open up that leg side, but could only sky it straight to deep mid-wicket.
yeah, the short innings for Kieron Pollard comes to an end, and was struggling against that length. He's a brilliant hitter of the full ball, but the Phoenix targeted him there, shorter into the pitch, make him play cross-batted shots, and it costs him his wicket. Has to go for just 2. That is a huge wicket for the Birmingham Phoenix. 95 runs on the board.
Well, perhaps the least heralded member of this quality seam attack, Chris Wood, but he's a very clever and skillful bowler, particularly towards the back end of the innings. If Southey does a lot of work at the top with the new ball and Milne as well, Wood tends to do more of his work towards the back end. Should get back for a second.
Going back to that point on Ben Duckett, he has been in superb form, as is Moeen Ali, as you see. Just the width of that delivery as well makes it difficult for Kieron Pollard to connect properly. But if I was in the Southern Brave camp, I'd be saying we get one of those early and we expose the middle order, who haven't had a huge amount of pressure batting. Livingston's been quiet. We stand a chance.
There's a good example of the skill and canniness that Chris Wood brings to proceedings. Oh yes, and yes, it's about time. But finally, Laurie Evans gets one out of the sweet spot and sends it about 15 rows back. 104 of 85.
Mistaken length from Chris Wood. Over pitching, that step and hit. That is the easiest length to hit on this particular surface. He'd been exemplary in the 4 balls previous, and you can see the look of disappointment and frustration all over his face and body language.
Yeah, he knew straight away, didn't he? As soon as that came off the bat, he kind of cricked his neck backwards and followed the arc of the ball all the way into the great southern stand. So Laurie Evans moves into double figures with a 6 and a 4. Dangerous player towards the end of the innings. He's got 15 balls left now to try and get the Southern Brave up to that, what, about a 130, 140 mark. Milne. Evans goes straight, but not long enough this time, and comfortably taken. The safe hands of Liam Livingston out at long on.
Yeah, that's the pace of Milne. Bowls a heavy ball into the pitch. It is so evident as a bowler, you have a lot of margin for error if you're hitting this pitch very hard. Exactly what Adam Milne has just done. Not too worried about going fuller, trying to hit the stumps. Hitting the pitch with the field set accordingly. Liam Livingston takes an easy catch.
इस मिट्टी पे घर
पापा साहब
बेटा घर जिंदगी में एक ही बार बनता है
भरोसा रखिए घर मजबूत ही बनेगा
एक है मौका इसमें सब लगाऊंगा अपने इरादों से मजबूत एक घर बनाऊंगा
भिजवाना सिर्फ अल्ट्राटेक ही
अल्ट्राटेक ही क्यों
आप ही ने तो कहा था कि घर जिंदगी में सिर्फ एक ही बार बनता है
घर एक मौका एक
Promising young all-rounder who plays for Sussex in the Championship and the other competitions. Been around a little while now, James Coles, even though he's only 20 years of age. He was picked when he was, what, about 16, I think, for the first time. I think he'll be happy. So far, lots can change in the final dozen balls of this innings. But as of now, I think Moeen Ali will be very happy with the performance his team have put in with the ball and in the field and with the position that they find themselves in. Looked pretty sharp, that, from Adam Milne.
Sort of delivery might encourage Jofra Archer and his bowling group at the Southern Brave. Bit of seam movement, bit of bounce.
It's a good 5 from Milne, just 3 singles from an end.
Just 10 balls left in this brave innings, and bowling at the pavilion and 38 in Salvi.
Tell us to hurry up and get through.
35 years of age now, Tim Southey. There was an interview with Pat Cummins in the week in one of the newspapers where he talked about fast bowlers being able to go on for longer now. Would you say Southey's similar pace as he always has been? I mean, skill's always been his point of difference, but pace hasn't really dropped so much, has it?
No, it's not dropped. It's always been his lateral movement that has always kept him up at the top level, has always been able to swing the ball. He's got quite a dangerous sort of three-quarter seam that goes across the left-hander and nips back towards the stump. But he's a thinking bowler, always planning his spell. And he's got a great heart on him, keeps running in ball after ball.
Well, 8 balls that Jordan and Coles have faced between them, yet to find the boundary. It's this stage now where boundaries matter. We've got 8 balls left. You'd say Chris Jordan's 6-hitting capabilities have improved with age. Probably one of the last remaining picks in England's T20 World Cup squad that went to the Caribbean in June, partly because of his 6-hitting ability down the order as well as his bowling. But as yet, he just can't quite get hold of things.
He'll just be hoping that Southey and the Phoenix change their plan and go stumps. Gives him a chance to be able to get on the front foot, get in the slot and hit straight, but into the pitch looks very difficult to get hold of at the minute, whether it's cross seam or slower balls. Although it's predictable, it's still hard to hit.
Again, Southey hits a length that is just short of what you'd consider to be traditionally a good length. 111 with 5 balls remaining.
I suppose I'm trying to think of some of the best batters in the world. If it's going into back of a length, what would they be doing? And I feel like a scoop would have come, a step across and just a pick up over the wicketkeeper. With the bounce at the oval, it's quite an easy shot to play here. Feels like then you're putting the onus back on the bowler. There's not been any attempt of that sort of scoop since Lewis Deploy edged it behind, and it's all looked a little bit similar from the Braves, so it means the Phoenix don't have to change.
Yeah, they've not been under that amount of pressure as Sean Abbott comes on for the final 5 of the innings. So, well, there is an example from Coles trying to work it behind square, but he's found Bethel out in the deep, who has made a very difficult catch look as easy as you like.
It's an astonishing catch. Very difficult to pick up square of the wicket here at the oval, and it was going for 6. And his awareness of where the boundary edge is there to take that catch, get on the ground and not touch. The Toblerone was superb in a similar sort of area where Ben Stokes took that wonderful catch to start the 2019 World Cup. That is a fine effort. Jacob Bethel, and he's all smiles.
Yeah, he's taken some good ones in this year's 100. He's a good mover, good athlete, good hand-eye coordination. Stopped a certain 6 there. Not only that, has got a new batter in as well. Made it look very easy. Wasn't a bad shot at all from Coles. It's the right idea to help it behind square and use the pace. hitting down the ground like Archer is trying to do there. Much more difficult from that length. So the idea was right from Coles. He just was unlucky that Bethel was in the way.
That's a really good angle of it. Above his head, 2 hands to it. You'd expect him to take the catch. Disappointed if he dropped it and palmed it over for 6, but it's still a very difficult catch to take. First of all, just picking it out of the crowd, adjusting the feet, getting yourself in the right position.
Jordan goes leg side and goes big. That is a big blow from Chris Jordan. Over square leg, over Bethel's head this time, and into the crowd.
Yeah, set himself for that length. Knew where it was going to be. Went deeper in his crease to give himself a little bit more time, make the ball a little bit shorter for him. So he's able to get underneath it. How deep he is in the crease here.
Well, it would be interesting to see whether Abbott changes that now. Jordan looked as though he's ready for that ball of back of a length. What will Abbott do now? Fuller goes Fuller. Jordan hoiks it away, leg side. Livingston won't get there. We'll have to have another look at this. I had the impression it was straight into the Toblerone on the full, but the umpires will take a check.
Now he gets that ball because of the ball before, managing to put Sean Abbott under pressure. So he goes full, gets it wrong, and it's a full toss, and goes for 6.
So a bit of a finish at last. Jordan going 6-6. What can he finish with now? Final ball of the innings, 124 the score. Short ball, Jordan goes down the ground. Will come back for the second. Both these men, Archer and Jordan, rapid between the wickets. So finish 6-6-2, 126 the score, 127 needed for the Phoenix to get through to the final tomorrow.